So in case you guys haven't noticed lately, you may have seen more than a handful of articles going around in the last week or so about a ton of big name advertisers pulling their ads out of YouTube, like for the time being, with no real comeback date, over what are allegedly hate speech videos. And I use allegedly in this case because I have not seen the actual videos they've been put on, but I'm inclined to believe that they were put on some nasty videos. Basically, the gist of it is a whole bunch of companies realized that their pre-roll ads or mid-roll bumpers, etc., were being displayed on nasty videos. Some people brought up that ISIS or the Islamic State, whatever you want to call them, is frequently having their recruitment propaganda videos posted and reposted to YouTube. Some people are talking about actual extremist, straight up fascist propaganda, or talking heads putting ad revenue on their videos, etc. But the gist of it is the advertisers, the big companies, got wise and they're pulling their ads. So I got some time to kill in my ever quest to procrastinate and putting out the monthly video and the other side video that I have completely recorded. And I'm going to try to explain to you how this affects everything and where everything's going right now. So first off, about the advertisers, am I mad at them as a YouTuber who does make money off his ad revenue? No. In fact, I envy them for reasons that I'm going to get into later. Now, as for what if these videos aren't ISIS, but also videos they cited that are just hard political opinions that, while very inflammatory and potentially nasty, are still free speech? That's still these various companies' prerogative to pull their ads in the face of being shown on these videos. As, well, I am definitely not an expert on what is and is not free speech in the United States, where YouTube is based. And definitely I'm not one to discern whether or not something is free speech or considered hate speech, obscenity, etc., things that void the free speech doctrine. It's also these companies' free speech to take a look at these videos and say, nope, I want nothing to do with this. I am pulling your ads on YouTube that we are buying because we cannot be sure that you have any system to actively prevent us from being associated with what we define as hate speech, inflammatory speech, stuff we do not want to be associated with. And if you're wondering who does get to discern what is considered this hate speech, who is the person you go to on YouTube, the internet lawyer, who is an actual lawyer, whoever, well, it's none of them. The person who defines what is considered hate speech, whatever, is a judge. Lawyers can argue this, but the judge decides. And if somebody does know of a judge that has an active YouTube channel talking about these things, I'd actually be really interested in that, but let's not get too sidetracked here. Let's move back to how a bunch of major companies have pulled their ads from YouTube indefinitely because there are some extremely objectionable videos on YouTube that they're being associated with. How do we fix this? Or more likely, how does YouTube fix this? Well, you know what the irony is here? Remember that YouTube Heroes program that everyone was hemming and hawing and whining, going, "Ma free speech" at? Actually, yeah, that could have been the solution for this if that was ever followed through. A team of really dedicated keyboard warriors that go around looking for the actual stuff like ISIS recruitment videos to flag en masse. I just love the delicious irony of it all, that the thing everyone was pitching a fit about is one of the many facets of a solution to this issue, which this is something that's going to take a lot of different factors, facets, plans of attack to fix, because just because you have someone mass flagging videos doesn't mean these videos aren't going to keep on cropping up with weeds. And if you didn't know already, it is ridiculously easy to set up ad revenue and get money from YouTube. It's hard to actually get enough to make the money on YouTube. You have to be doing some pretty impressive numbers by anyone's standard to ever see any of your money. But the process of actively starting to earn that money, just getting the pennies and stuff, is obscenely easy. I remember when I did it, I was just getting formally engaged to my now wife, and we went ring shopping. And I got some serious sticker shock. And in an act of like, just how am I going to get this money? I finally decided, you know what? I am now old enough to where I need money for things and I can't be like morally grandstanding about how my videos are for fun. I would like to make money off this hobby I pour so many hours into. All I had to do was like tick a box and fill out like, I think 1 page worth of forms and stuff. It's pretty much just, okay, what's your name? What's your tax info? What bank account or clearinghouse do you want us to put this in? You're done. That's all you need to do. You just tick a box on your YouTube page and set up your AdSense account. That's all you need to do. There is almost no vetting, like, at all for, is this something you can make money off? Like, if there was any sort of reviews process to see, hey, are you, like, something we consider hate speech? You have any, like, serious flags, aside from, like, community strikes and stuff that actually will prevent you from monetizing? There's nothing. Which, admittedly, a counterpoint to that is you'd need an obscenely huge army of people, like, vetting various people applying for YouTube partnership in order to make sure that nobody posting, like, extremist speech, outright hate speech, etc. would get through the cracks. There is, however, the other angle to this, which is YouTube is actually able of sensing curse words and various slurs, like without any subtitles or anything. If you're wondering why subtitles lately, like the automatic ones, have gotten so good, like in the last 6 months or so, they've been upping their algorithm game. I remember I took a special YouTube class in September of 15, I think, and they told us, yes, we can sense your swear words and what have you, and we can tell when you're not being advertiser friendly, and you are far less likely to make money off that. So maybe if YouTube started tweaking the filter for their thing and trying to find a sort of hate speech algorithm, that might be a solution. But then that creates the problem of, yet again, we've got the free speech crowd that are going to vehemently swat this thing down. It's all fresh in our head of like, it's not even a week ago we had that whole thing where a bunch of people were tagging on Twitter, YouTube is over party because the new family filter blocked out like various sexual themes, including various LGBTQ themes. And there's going to be another wave of that. There's always a wave of my free speech. Wait, why? People out there. But YouTube really needs us right now. Like, it's getting to a fever pitch with some of the stuff that's being allowed on the website that is pretty objectively just not kosher, I guess, like, with what's going on. If you haven't seen already, like, on various forums and stuff, and even, I think, Ethan Klein of Hee Hee Productions went over it, but there's some weird stuff being marketed to kids, like that Spider-Man and Elsa stuff that's, like, weird kitty pseudo-pornography. And now apparently, at least according to the YouTube subreddit on Reddit, people have been discovering that toy channels now are getting to these like weird pseudo scat videos of like kids pooping and stuff to try and like make even more ad revenue on impressionable children. And maybe it is a time for like, oh, not even maybe, it's definitely a time where YouTube needs to really put the screws in on what's considered advertiser-friendly content, because now more than ever, the reason why I originally said I envy these massive companies so much, it's not because they're millions and millions of dollars and they're machines for making money. It's that they're forcing YouTube to listen to complaints that like a lot of creators on YouTube have had for the longest time about how like there's just so much stuff out there that's soaking up ad revenue that like has no right soaking up ad revenue. Cat, please be quiet. I know you're walking on the TV, but excuse me, I'm getting sidetracked here. But as I was saying, this is something that's going to force YouTube to act, and I'm calling it now. It's not something that I should really like make a big deal about calling because anyone can see it. YouTube's going to put in a new system in place to deal with this because now they're actually being threatened in a way. Like, even though YouTube is a loss leader, it can't be like a massive loss. It still needs to like pull some of its weight. And people are going to get super duper upset about things that get demonetized. Like, this is not the first time there's been mass waves of demonetization. but it needs to happen again. It's like there's a lot of stuff that people are extremely objectioned about, and it's just gotta happen. And then if you ask, wait, like, there's lots of videos, and it's not like I can choose to not watch videos or whatever, but you can. There's also a very finite supply of advertiser revenue because these corporations don't have infinite money. They have set advertising budgets that they pour onto YouTube, which works as a sort of bounty thing, depending on who watches videos on what, like engagement, blah, blah, blah. Stuff for like another video on the finer workings of how making money on YouTube works is who gets the advertisements and who gets the advertisements money. And if people like known hate speech, like groups, personalities, and literally terroristic organizations, well, that's what it needs to be. Everything in this video aside, though, it's this is something that we have tons of precedent for ever since media had syndicated advertising on it. Like back in the days of like the original radio sponsorship programs, and dang, I don't know what that is. It's been a long time since I had my media studies classes. But nothing here is for certain except that YouTube's going to have to at least acknowledge this and do something about it because there's been a very considerable portion of press coverage. I hope this has at least done something to help you figure out what's going on. And I'll see you within the week for the next major video.